Universal Pictures presents a John Hughes film, Weird Science.
It's purely sexual.
I don't know why that makes me laugh so hard, but it does. Oh, this is. I needed this week. Hi, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too, Jay.
Whew. I'm really happy to be back here doing this with you. This is I've got a bunch of new projects going on lately, and this is my favorite one.
Oh, that's great. Me too. I got a lot of stuff on my plate always, but it's something that I'm really looking forward to doing. Just in general, it's fun. Like even just this part, like the note taking is fun, right?
Agreed. Yeah, it's good. Well, it makes you feel like look, we love to watch movies, right? So if we can watch movies and feel productive about it, that's a win.
Exactly. Well, I guess I should say welcome to a Blockbuster year. Tonight we will be covering the film Brewster's Millions, starring Richard Pryor and John Candy. Let's pop in the tape.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how catchphrases are born. Wow, you did it. Let's pop in the tape.
I thought of that today, and I thought I'd try it on for size.
It's so good. It's so good. I love it. I don't know why I have a pencil. That's the other show.
So yeah, I think I'm pretty excited to talk about this movie, Brewster's Millions. It's been definitely a few years since I've seen this movie.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, where'd you go?
Oh, I'm here. I'm trying to. I cut it away just for a second because I couldn't hear you quite well. I turned it down so low because I didn't want you to hear yourself, but then I couldn't hear you as well too. So I'm sorry, buddy. I'm still here.
It's an achievement that we are live streaming on the Blockbuster Year YouTube channel tonight. That in itself is something to be rewarded.
Thank you for all the work you did making that happen. It's exciting. New channel.
It is exciting. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm really looking forward to doing the show. It's such a cool thing to like have an excuse to deep dive into a movie that maybe doesn't get as appreciated or talked about as much as something like Brewster's Millions, right?
I'm kind of glad that you/we chose Brewster's Millions first because of exactly what you just said. And I'm sorry if I was fidgeting with my mic there. I hope you could hear me okay. It's sort of a deep cut. Like if you know it, you probably love it because what I was reminded with when I rewatched it just today was what a good movie it is. There's a lot of 80s movies that are fun because you remember them, but they might not necessarily be a good movie. This is a great movie. Totally enjoyable movie.
Yeah. Although, I mean, and we will get into it, is I don't think it was as loved as much when it came out May 22nd, 1985.
Again, when you think about what the subject matter is, it didn't align with America in 1985.
Well, and I think people were maybe expecting something a little bit different from Richard Pryor and John Candy in this big film. Should we just get into it? Maybe we talk some production stuff real quick.
I guess so. I mean, I literally, I couldn't stop because I knew the movie already, and then I'm watching it for like nuances I'd never picked up on before, and I have 2 pages of notes on my legal pad here. So, and then when the movie was over, I noticed that the original version from 1949 was only like an hour and 10 minutes long, so I watched that one right afterwards.
I got halfway through that one.
Oh, you did it too? That's hilarious.
Yes, because on my Shout Factory Blu-ray, it has Brewster's Millions, the 1945 adaptation starring Dennis O'Keefe and Helen Walker. It's 79 minutes.
Bonus feature on the thing. Oh, that's great. I was doing it on Amazon, but that's awesome. I love it.
So I didn't get through it, but I did watch about half of it.
Well, you get the
So,
feel. I mean, it's the same
yeah.
movie.
Well, let's talk about that, because Brewster's Millions is a movie that I didn't actually realize has been made 7 times. That was one thing that I learned.
I didn't know that either. That's something. You know,
So-
it's funny you say that, because I noticed another while trying to find the other version of Brewster's Millions, I found another movie that had tons of versions, and it was Wuthering Heights. That's for another day, but it's funny that you would say that. So 1949, 1985, what are the others?
I have them listed here. So it was a novel written in 1902.
Wow.
And then it became, I believe, a play. But the first film was 1914, then 1921, 1926, 1935, 1945, which is the version that you watched, and then
45, you're right.
Yeah, 1961, and then 85 is the John Candy, Richard Pryor version.
So it's hilarious that I thought I was watching the quote-unquote original version. I was watching the 45. Were we watching the same version?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we were as far as I know, I think the 1945 one is, besides obviously the Richard Pryor one, is the most accessible.
Gotcha.
And
I
all
know
the
people
other
want to
ones-
hear about the 1985 one, but just since we're on the 1945 one, I only really pressed play on it. I kind of just wanted to read the blurb and see, who was in it and stuff. And one of the actresses that was in it, by the name of June Havoc, is somebody that I grew up with. She was, she died at 96, I think. So she was like an old woman, but she was a staple in the town that I lived in. June Havoc in Wilton, Connecticut. She owned a little area of the town called Cannon Crossing that's still there today, where they would have town events and things like that, and a bunch of little shops. It was like a little village. And that's why I pressed play. I was like, oh, June Havoc. Oh, I grew up with June Havoc. That's fun. And then I was surprised with how similar the movies were, but whatever.
Well, all of it is based off of a novel from 1902, where the funny thing is, in the novel, Brewster inherits money from his grandfather and from his uncle.
Oh.
The money from his uncle hates his grandfather so much that his uncle says, "I'll give you I think it's like $7 million. I'll give you the $7 million, the crazy 1902 $7 million, if you spend all of the grandfather's inheritance before I give you mine."
Whoa.
So it's kind of like he's sticking,
Gotcha.
that uncle is sticking it to the grandfather in the novel.
So yeah, that's actually probably a little more interesting of a story because of the family hierarchy and all that. What I was taken with was, and I would imagine why this story is timeless, is it's really just kind of a story of greed and how money changes people sometimes, and how it seems like it's, even if you don't want it to, it's a struggle to keep that from happening. And I loved it. I loved rewatching this movie. It just became one of my favorite, like, I don't know, psychological movies because of all of the ins and outs.
I think you're right about that aspect. I also think another reason why people love this story is because every single person has dreamed about a shopping spree or winning the lottery, and what outlandish things would you do with that money? And here is a character who gets the opportunity that he has to spend that amount of money.
Yeah. You know what? We did it in the last episode preparing for this. Do we assume that everyone has... we're figuring this out, folks, live. Do we assume that at this point everyone has seen the movie we're talking about, so we probably don't need to give a synopsis of what the plot's about? Or I just realized we're talking about it like everybody knows.
Yeah, well, you're right. It probably is good to give a very brief synopsis of the film right up top. But basically, the character of Brewster in the 1985 version, which we'll be focusing on, he's a minor league baseball player played by Richard Pryor, and he gets called into a big, industrial building and finds out that his great uncle, who he never met, has left him $300 million with some very severe stipulations.
Yeah, what's funny about this was the two movies did it differently with how they with how this information came out. The old movie did it exactly what you just did, and the new movie starts with Mr. Brewster, you've inherited $1 million, and he's like, holy crap! And they say, but if you would like to roll the dice, there is more to this story. And they go,
Yes.
here's $30 million that you need to spend in 30 days. And if you successfully do that with no assets at the end and not having any help from anyone, because it needs to stay a secret, you inherit $300 million. That was 1985. My mind's blown today in 2020.
I have the actual rules right here. I wrote them down.
Oh, amazing. Go ahead.
So the rules set out by Brewster's uncle are he has 30 days to spend $30 million. And if he spends all $30 million, he gets the $300 million.
Okay.
After those 30 days, he is not allowed to own any assets. He has to show back up at the office with the shirt on his back.
Yeah, the literal
Cubs
shirt
jersey.
on his back.
Yeah,
Yep.
a Cubs jersey. He's allowed to hire anybody that he'd like, but he has to have value for their services. And that at the beginning is one of the things that Richard Pryor does right away is he just starts hiring people. But the rule is he can't just say he's hiring somebody and just pay them. They actually have to have a job.
Right, and do a job.
He's allowed to give away 5% to charity and he's allowed to gamble 5%,
Yes.
which of 30 million is 1.5 million each. So basically he can give 1.5 million to charity and he can gamble 1.5.
So it's like giving 10% off the top. Like we don't have to spend that. We can get rid of that.
Yeah. And I love the way that the rich uncle like dismisses like, you can give 5% to charity and you can gamble 5% away. Like it's like it's almost like a lawyer has advised him to put that in there and he's like not happy with it, but I love that he just throws it away.
Reluctant clause.
Exactly. He's not allowed to give the money away, and the uncle uses the example of you can't just buy the Hope Diamond and give it to some girl, right? Spend all the money and just give it away, and he can't destroy what is inherently valuable.
Right.
So the example the uncle gives is he can't just buy a bunch of Picassos and then burn them.
Right.
And then
right.
the
You
final
can't destroy.
rule,
That's right. Right.
Yes. You can't destroy. And the final rule, and I think is kind of the most important one, and really is what makes this movie the movie that it is he's not allowed to tell anyone.
So that sounds like, it's just an interesting nugget. It's so much more than that because everybody thinks he's nuts for what he's doing. He's the luckiest man in the world. Just inherited $30 million publicly.
Yes.
And him making all these decisions to try to get rid of it in 30 days look insane to the rest of the world.
And John Candy is his best friend, his bat catcher on the minor league team. And the whole time...
The Hackensack
Bulls.
Yeah.
Hackensack Bulls. And the whole time, John Candy is like, what are you doing? You're like, hold on, like calm down. Let's think about these investments. Let's think like what we're doing, because he's not allowed to know. Even the woman who is hired to keep his finances doesn't know what he's doing. And
in fact, especially her, because she's trying to advise him the opposite on every single move and can't understand what the hell is wrong with him.
And she thinks he is such an idiot for all the money that he is spending after just inheriting $30 million, because nobody knows that there's $300 million on the line.
No. If the public knew that this is what was happening, the public would pull for him and help him, and it would defeat. It's exactly what the uncle said. Like it would whatever. It would slant the machine.
And I actually really like the logic of the movie. In the uncle gives the story of how his father caught him smoking a cigar and then locked him in a room with a box of cigars with no food or water and told him he has to smoke all of these cigars and then he can come out of the room. And so he uses it. Brewster, I'm going to make you hate spending money.
Yep.
And I think it's a really interesting concept. And
you're exactly right. And the uncle goes, nobody helped me in the closet with those cigars.
Yes.
Like you have to do this on your own. That's where the grit comes from.
Yeah. It also has like this really genius, fun call and response energy in that scene, because the uncle has passed away. This is all these rules are given to Brewster on a film, a projector, like a film reel.
Yeah.
And Richard Pryor is like, yes, Richard Pryor is responding to the things that are being said. And then it's like the uncle knew what he was going to say.
Yeah, so in real time.
Yes. They're having this like weird conversation. Like, no, you can't hire anybody. But it cuts together really well. And it's like, it's a very funny moment.
Renee says, I'm ready to learn about this movie and get some tips on how to quickly spend $30 million.
You know, Renee, the other interesting thing is we are talking about a movie from 1985 where he has to spend $30 million. So if you put that into an inflation calculator, that comes out to $89 million US or $78 million Canadian.
So essentially 3 times the amount in the same time period. You have to spend $90 million almost.
Yes, $3 million a day in modern monies.
Wow. There are a couple comments here. Should I get through them all, or do you want to wait and queue them up for later?
I want to shout out the first comment there, Ryan Dole. That's my friend Ryan. I'm
glad awesome.
He's here.
What's up, Ryan? Nice to meet you. Since you're a real friend. We've all been there while streaming. Oh, man. Will there be spoilers? Oh, yeah, I guess we should probably say that. There will always be spoilers.
Always be spoilers for 40-year-old movies. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a good point if you haven't seen it by now.
Yeah. Every movie we're covering is 40 years old.
Literally.
Yeah. And that's the embargo on spoilers officially. That's what we're saying. Anything after 40 is good to go. No spoiler
Open
warning.
season.
Yeah. That's the rules on this show.
That's amazing. That's good. That's good. That's good to know. I didn't realize that was our rule. I like it. So I don't, we have a blue card in that there's a format of, the bullets of how we do this: production, release, legacy. We've got some reviews we want to read. We want to do our own reviews. At the same time, though, I have a feeling because of the nature of, how we speak and tangentially how these shows tend to go, that we'll probably bounce around a bit. So I don't know how tightly we need to hold to this, but that's what we'll be covering tonight: production, release, legacy. I guess that's what we'll be covering every show. Yeah,
let's just finish the plot real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But just like real simple in terms is he runs out of the bank. He has to start right away spending the $30 million. He rents a bunch of, first he hires a bunch of security guards and pays
in the
them
bank
all,
still.
Yes, all the bank security guards. He's like, you and 20 of your best men, I'll pay you $2,000 a week, and hires the guy that found him at the baseball game to be his personal photographer. So he's just hiring people left and right. He rents a hotel room for the month for $1 million.
2 floors of the Plaza Hotel in New York City.
Yes, from Home Alone 2, the Plaza.
Oh, that's funny.
And I can hear myself a little bit, just so you're aware. And then he starts to meet with investors and gamblers, and he's redecorating the Plaza Hotel suites, which I do think is funny, like being so rich that a hotel that you're renting for the month, you're allowed to redecorate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of those. I wrote down some of my favorites of his purchases, and that was always one of them for me because it's all discretionary. Like, he gets to say what he likes is good or isn't good. So he's paying a fortune to have this place. What did they call it? Postmodern fantasy or something like that, whatever the heck it was. Yeah. And then he goes, oh yeah, it's great, but it's not really what I wanted. So they tear it all down and they start from scratch with a bigger plan. It was such a great wasteful plot line, I thought.
Yes. And then through all of that, he ends up winning some of the horse races that he puts money on that are supposed to lose him money.
He put money on all the long shots because he thought he was throwing money away in that gambling ruse you talked about. But it turns out he hit most of the long shots and put the bookie out of business.
And he invests in like this iceberg idea where they like they cut out a chunk of an iceberg and they put motors in, and they drive, or they float the icebergs to the desert for farmers, for water, and then it ends up making him a bunch of money from the gas companies or something. I
so
can't remember.
One of my favorite things about this movie is all the different cameos. There are so many people who were famous in the 80s in this movie, and the iceberg guy I made a note of was Rich Hall, which was pretty funny.
Oh, I didn't clock who's Rich Hall.
Oh, okay.
Who is he?
He did Saturday Night Live. He was I think he worked at Letterman for a bit in the 80s.
Okay.
But you would know him as a comedian, usually in a leather jacket, being pissed off about something. He was playing that character that was so different.
Yeah.
The iceberg scientist guy.
Yeah. Well, he was great. It's a bit that always sticks out to me. Plus, it has a really great prop of this like little remote control iceberg that you stick the flag in and it turns on and it moves around the desk.
That's what I was going to say. He's like, oh, is $1 million enough? He's like, sure. And he sticks the flag in.
Yeah.
We have to find that iceberg prop because it looked motorized and everything was super cool.
Yeah. And then a big one is John Candy takes some of the money and makes some investments.
Yeah.
And ends up winning him back $10 million partway through. And Richard Pryor says, I'm back to where I started.
Yeah.
And
he thought everyone's worried about him blowing through all this money. So he thought he was doing a great thing. $10 million.
Yeah.
Everybody's all excited to give Monty this news, and he freaks out. He has like a little mental breakdown.
And that is the biggest rule of not being able to tell anybody, because everybody is trying to help. They're going along with him because a lot of them are paid by Brewster, including John Candy as his vice president. He hires him. And so all of these people are kind of like straddling the line of yes men in like, okay, it's Brewster's money. I guess he can do what he wants. But then John Candy gets this opportunity to come and, celebrate and tell him he got him $10 million. And Richard Pryor almost has like a breakdown because it's like he's been working so hard up until this point to spend this money, and he's only $10 million down of the 30.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're as creative as you are coming up with all these ways to get rid of the money, but like now you're back to zero. You're like, but I'm less like, how do I do this now? It's $40 million I got to get rid of in 30 days.
Exactly. And then after that, he hires the New York Yankees to play 3 innings of a ball game. Gives new uniforms to his team, lavishly flies them out from New Jersey on helicopters to New York City. And this is all just him kind of using the money to live out his I guess it's not really his fantasy because he technically did play Major League Baseball, but he wants to like celebrate his team that he loves so much, and he wants to buy his team.
Yeah. Or rent it.
And then rent it. And then the final bit is he runs for mayor.
Well, so I was going to ask you that. I've got a couple questions for you. What was your favorite buy that or purchase or money spend that he did in the whole film?
I always enjoy the campaign section at the end of it.
Yep.
And part of it is because I really like the campaign slogans. I really like all the photography that they would have had to do with Richard Pryor, where he's like got all his like faces and
to get all the signage and everything.
Yes. So Brewster finds out that the 2 people running for mayor of New York are unfavorable, and so he starts running as a 3rd candidate under the what is it? None of the above,
and he checked the none of the above box.
Yes, none of the above. That's his candidacy, and so he blows all of this money on this campaign with all of these meetings and all this advertising everywhere, and he ends up disrupting the whole election.
And so the issue, I think, at some point, did that help at all? I just realized I could kill another mic. Did that help at all with the reverb? There was part of it. I think
so.
he has like an advisor, the executor of the uncle's will or whatever, who checks in with him every once in a while just to say, hey, you're doing good, or I don't know, Brewster. And at some point he says, you look like you're going to win this race. You're doing great with this money spend, but if you win this race, you get a job and there's a salary and that's considered an asset, et cetera, et cetera.
$60,000 a year.
So so Brewster drops out the night before the election. So he can't win the job, but the irony is he ends up winning the election.
Yeah,
he doesn't get the job because he already dropped out. But they had to, if I recall the headline, the other guys were crooked, right? They were crooked. They were like mob ties. There was something else going on. They ended up meeting or whatever. But somehow the none of the above worked, and it got the crooked guys out, and they're going to hold another election or something.
Yes.
I thought that was the most ingenious of the political campaign of the money spends, because it was such a big spend, and you got nothing for it. It was literally perfect, exactly what the uncle said. My favorite, like the best one I thought in the movie.
I know what you're going to say.
Do you?
I do. Is it the stamp?
It's 100% the stamp. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remembered that now.
There's a misprinted, like I think it was the Wright brothers, the whatever the plane was called, their first in flight plane, and it was printed like upside down, and it's a real famous stamp. I looked it up, and because it was printed upside down. Is that what it was?
Yeah, there was only a few hundred of them that were misprints.
Right.
And so he goes to an antique stamp store, and the owner, the proprietor of the store, like insults him and says like, "Oh, sir, the store you want is down the block," thinking he's looking for regular stamps.
Yes.
But really,
because you're right. He walks in. He goes, "Do you guys sell stamps?"
You guys sell stamps? And he says, "Sir, I think the store you're looking for is down the block." And then he asks them what the most expensive stamp is, and the proprietor brings out this misprint, rare. Only 100 of them were printed. This is the only one known to exist. And yes, it is just a simple stamp with a airplane printed upside down. And what does he do?
Well, this would be considered an asset. And the guys at the firm, we didn't even talk about that. There's some subterfuge because there's other people at the firm who are trying to get Brewster to fail so that the firm can get the money and yada, yada, yada. Again, the greed factor.
Yeah.
Which
I guess is kind of carrying the plot as well, and that's what's, as an audience, you're like, oh, will he do it? Will he do it? We don't want the bank to get the money. We want Brewster to get the money, right?
Yes, and as would the public have been as well on his side for that.
Yes, yeah. So these people are reading the newspaper, and the front headline is Brewster buys stamp for $1.2 million.
And they're thinking, we got him.
We got him. That's an asset. He can't have the stamp. He
blew
has to
it.
do something. And then somebody comes in with the mail and drops the mail on the table, and one of the bankers picks up, and it's a postcard from Brewster, and on the postcard is the $1.2 million stamp, now worthless,
now canceled by the post office.
Yes, it has the stamp on it, or I guess the ink stamp on the stamp that exactly cancels the stamp, and it is completely valueless.
The guy's like, it's not an asset anymore. He mailed it.
It's so great. So great.
So now in watching this movie again, do you see why I was confused and thought it might have been the Duke brothers?
Yes.
From
Trading Places.
Trading Places, right. And I knew they showed up in another movie. It turned out we figured out was Coming to America. But there's kind of a similar feeling about these, crooked old bastard white guys, greedy sons of bitches.
Ironically, the writers of Brewster's Millions were the writers of Trading Places.
It doesn't surprise me at all. So it's such a similar world to live in. Although I think Trading Places was Chicago, maybe?
That seems right. Again, I haven't watched that one in quite a while.
Right.
But and ultimately, we find out midway through the movie that the fiance of Miss Drake.
So can we talk about that? That's the. All right. There's a couple things on my list from the beginning. One of which is how quickly this movie starts, because Richard Pryor's in it at the 1 minute mark from when you press play, including all of the titles and produced by, etc. And John Candy's right after that. One of the things that stuck out at me as soon as he popped up on screen was, are we allowed to even watch this movie anymore because of who the character you're talking about is played by? He was controversial for a spell. I don't know if he still is. Did he get canceled? The dad from Seventh Heaven?
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah, Stephen Collins.
Okay, well, I don't know too much. I know that he is not a great human being. He's a bad man.
Yeah.
But we will talk about his character.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah,
Good.
we can definitely talk about his character. We don't have to celebrate him in any in any means. Oh, that's my sister. Emma
Oh,
Mindell,
awesome.
Excited to learn about movies I never knew existed.
Because she's too young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
But I
Thank
saw
you.
another comment. I saw another comment earlier saying that we're due for a remake when we were talking about how there's 7 Brewster's Millions.
Renee said that, yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's been 40 years, like you said, so it is
Yep.
time. Hello, Steve 3.
Hi,
While watching,
Steve.
did either of you think about what you might spend your money on? Oh, man. No, I thought I had to make $30 million first. Although, I guess, yeah, if you're going to inherit it, boy, that's... No, I didn't. Did you?
No, I didn't.
I would rewatch it, though. I
Yeah.
think I was observing and making notes about all of his thoughts, decisions, and ways to do it. I
Yeah.
kind of said, ooh, that's really smart. Ooh, that's clever.
Yeah.
So maybe I was taking notes.
Yeah. But yeah, we meet the fiance of Miss Drake, played by this guy from Seventh Heaven,
Stephen Collins.
and he ends up working with the bankers because they want to keep the 300 million, and they use him to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, they promise him a partnership.
They promise him a partnership, and essentially what they ask him to do is withhold a small amount of money. So he goes out and he pays for some custom-made furniture, and then right before the 30 days is up, he gets a refund. So he gets $20,000 in cash, and as they're signing over the paperwork, he comes in and gives, right before he's about to sign the paperwork, he gives Brewster $20,000.
It's great news. And Brewster
Yes.
flips out because this is the
Yes.
11th hour. He's showing up
Yes.
literally minutes before the clock
Yeah,
strikes. And
there
this
is
it.
literal shots of the clock as we're watching the minute hand get to 12.
Right. And he's showing
about
up
to
at this
lose.
building again with the Cubs
Yes,
shirt that was on his
absolutely
back. He
nothing.
thinks he's succeeded. He's
After he has-
exhausted.
He has no money, and everybody knows it. And everybody's attitude towards him has changed at the hotel.
They've all
has-
turned on him.
They've all completely turned on him because he's just a poor schlub in a Cubs jersey now. And right before he walks into the boardroom, he's handed the $20,000. And again, in a classic Richard Pryor, he has a little freak out, and he realizes he lost. He lost the 300 million because of this $20,000. It then comes out that
so this is what I love. He thinks he's gotten away with it, and he's overwatching. But so then he's telling his Mrs. Drake, who's now become, pretty much an ally to Richard Pryor, and she's the one who's been wondering why the hell he's been doing this the whole time anyway. She's like playing detective here, and then all of a sudden, Warren, this jerk from Seventh Heaven, says, "Oh, look what we did! Really, I can tell you now because it's all about to happen. Ooh, we had this
I'm
evil
going to make
plan the
partner.
whole
I'm going to
time."
make partner. Yeah.
And she, thank God, is a good one and busts through the doors and said, "Don't sign." It's like no pediment, no sign, no sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that moment. Don't sign the
Yeah.
paperwork.
And then he hires Miss Drake for $20,000 as a retainer.
Warren's a dick, so he gets punched.
Oh, that's right. That's
And then
why
he goes,
needs a lawyer,
"Brewster,
'cause
I'm going to sue you for everything you're worth." So he
and
goes,
he's like, "You want to settle out of court? $20,000." And he's like, "No, I'm not settling out of court." So then
and he goes,
needs
"But I'm going to need an
lawyers
attorney." So he hires Mrs. Drake, Miss Drake.
right before the clock strikes midnight. And
She writes him a
Brewster-
receipt, scribbles out a receipt real quick.
Yeah, it's a great sequence, and he wins the $300 million.
Yeah, the old man declares it, and you have won the full amount. Yeah. The funny thing is the movie ends right there, and I always wouldn't have minded. I think it's probably better that it does, but I wouldn't have minded seeing something of when his friends find out that he's not nuts. When Spike finds out he's not crazy. The photographer, the security guy, all the other people.
Yeah, especially
Really just
it would
John
have been
Candy,
really
because
nice.
he disappears
Yes.
at some point.
Yes, you're right. He kind of does. He's not even at the end of that party after after the election results and the day after.
No, he is, because they're trying to take they're shaking down people to take a handout to put in hats.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's like, he spent all his money. Give us, they're passing the hat, taking a collection.
Yes. Yeah, and the photographer isn't going to give it up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And of course, Monty doesn't want the money because he wants to be broke. Agreed on the stamp. When you said you were doing this movie, this was the first thing I thought of. Thanks, Dan McGinnis. Yeah, it's definitely one of the best parts in the movie for me. Celebratory drinking of the vintage wine he just bought. That was great, too.
Yes.
Went to a wine auction, spent $600,000, and then opened all the cases
bottles.
for everybody afterwards.
Yeah.
Stamp anxiety. Great movie. Oh, you know what? Shout out to you, Dustin Mario Johnson. You've been killing it with what you've been doing over there. I don't even know if you call it a podcast, a show, a live, but whatever you're doing, it's a lot of fun. I had a blast doing the Goonies recap with you. And at the end, when we're doing plugs, I want to shout out some of the local guys who are doing new shows. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I like when more people do what we're doing. It's only better for all of us, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally agree. But yeah, that basically covers the plot of Brewster's Millions. There wasn't a lot I could, find in terms of production. A couple of interesting things are it was originally developed by Peter Bogdanovich, the director. And
huge director. People know him from Sopranos because he was Tony Soprano's therapist as an actor.
We will talk about him on this podcast because Peter Bogdanovich directed Mask, that came out in 1985.
Oh my gosh, which of course I love, and you still haven't seen.
Yes, I have never seen.
Great,
but we will talk about it. And
that's a deep cut too. Sorry, everybody. That'll be a downer week. We'll have to have like some games or something in the studio. Well, I will say this: we got the bubble machine back. I don't know if that really applies to this show or not, but it works. That makes me happy.
I think they had bubbles in 1985, so I think
there you go. Yeah, woohoo!
Look at that.
Look at that. One day, all podcasts will be like this.
But then it ended up just sort of sitting. Universal ended up giving it to Walter Hill as the director, which I actually never made that connection until rewatching it. But Walter Hill is so famous for directing The Warriors and 48 Hours, which has some comedic elements in it. But I mean, the guy that directed The Warriors and one of my personal favorites, Streets of Fire, produced the first Alien movie. It's just crazy that he was the one to direct this John Candy, Richard Pryor comic.
Well, if you're, can I do another one then? Another production person who is of note that worked on it?
Sure.
Walter Hill, of course, but I think I probably already knew that he directed it. What I didn't know until watching the credits was that the prop master was John Zemansky. And if you don't know that name, you know his work from every movie we grew up with in the 80s, including the Back to the Future trilogy. I wrote some of them down here. Back to the Future trilogy, Harry and the Hendersons, Scarface, Dutch, which is one of my favorite John Hughes movies that nobody seems to know. Do you know Dutch?
Yeah. No, I don't know Dutch at all.
Buddy, you are going to love this movie. It's my favorite John Hughes movie. And it's a sort of a best of all the John Hughes movies, plot-wise, all into one. And it's Ed O'Neill. This was in the 80s as well. We'll have to see when it came out. It'd be amazing if it was 85, but I don't think so. Ed O'Neill as the adult character, and the kid is a very young Ethan Embry.
Okay.
And it's a really, really great movie. Very, very fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, he did that. Noises Off, Death Becomes Her, Mrs. Doubtfire,
Love that.
one of the Psycho 2, I think it was, The Thing, Dante's Peak, Twister, tons and tons of movies. So it was kind of cool to see his name in the credits.
Yeah,
obviously, you and me and Back to the Future and props, like the prop master from Back to the Future did this one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's in charge of that little iceberg we were talking about, right?
Dude. And I'm like, we got to find that prop. What the heck? Yeah. Of course. Maybe we can trade him a hoverboard for an iceberg.
Yeah, exactly. For a screen-used Brewster's Millions remote-controlled drivable iceberg.
Yeah, I'd love that. I would love that. Play around it on my desk.
But I was shocked that like it was Walter Hill. It has such a different tone for anything he's really done.
His stuff is while comedic, like 48 Hours, it's typically darker in tone, and
Yeah.
and while so is Greed. Greed is a pretty deep, heavy tone to cover, even in a comedy. Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
I
There was
look
a
at,
there was a the joke. There was a joke. What was the joke? Oh gosh, where was it? I wrote it down. I thought. Oh yeah, I didn't want to read. I didn't want to say it out loud. When they're playing the baseball game, the exhibition game with the Yankees, and John Candy says some stuff about one of the players' wives. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that whole scene
Yeah.
is one of the best. John Candy as a bat catcher, mouthing off to players is perfection.
So him in this character is one of the most believable characters I've ever seen John Candy play, and it's a shame he isn't a bigger role in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's that that joke, which we'll call it the ugly. Forgive me. This is a quote from the movie, "Ugly bitch."
Yeah.
Speaking about the player's wife, I thought the timing of that was so funny, and I go, "Oh, that's classic Pryor," but I don't know. Somebody did Comedy Punch Up on this. I don't know. It was just so perfect.
Yeah.
That I felt like a professional comedian did it. And then while watching the credits, I happened to see that an executive or whatever, what was he? He was a production consultant. Was Paul Mooney, and I don't know if you know Paul Mooney, but he's a historic, classic stand-up comedian and African American stand-up comedian. Since passed away. Ironically, last time I saw him, directly in front of the Peterson Museum. I was taking a left to pull into the parking garage, and he was walking with Nicole, and he was walking up the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And he's the type of guy who wouldn't let a white person wait for him. He was like, no, after you, because that's sort of his whole thing. That's his shtick.
Yeah, yeah.
And likely what he actually believes, but it was funny. I'm guessing that entire thing was Paul Mooney, and it made me realize a lot of the other stuff in the movie was very good comedy. Both the timing, the writing, and I'm guessing that a lot of that is probably the late, great Paul Mooney.
Yeah. One of the interesting things about this version of Brewster's Millions is, do you know who it was originally developed for?
As Brewster? No.
Yeah. Bill Murray.
Interesting.
It was developed as a Bill Murray in the role of Brewster, and he was going to be an astronaut, a former astronaut who now sells knockoff jeans on the street of New York. But it would have been a very different movie with a Bill Murray energy.
I agree. And then plot-wise, they're more in tune to the 1945 version, where it was it was somebody who had fought in war and was coming home from the war, and he was going to get married to the girl, and that was that Montgomery Brewster. So being that there wasn't a war in the 80s, Iran-Contra, I guess, but like it makes sense that they would make him an astronaut who came back from training or whatever. That's interesting. I feel like we probably have gotten, like Bill Murray has covered those tones in other movies, from Groundhog Day to Scrooged.
I was thinking of The Man Who Knew Too Little.
Ooh, good one. Deep cut, bro. Deep cut.
Yeah, that was I was trying to think of like, what is the manic energy? And Groundhog Day is a good one too. But yeah, the manic energy of running around the city. Man Who Knew Too Little was one that I thought of.
He, I don't love that movie, but I really want to. You know what I mean? I love the pieces so well. I don't love the whole. Yeah.
I love the concept of that movie. A good allegory for a more modern audience is the movie Game Night with Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams.
Love it.
Yeah, the story of somebody who doesn't know they're involved in like a real crime spree, like something that's happening. They think that's like it's all fake. It's a great concept.
Yeah. Wait, but it's not Game Night that you're talking. It's Date Night that the plot that you're talking about, isn't it?
Game Night is very similar too.
Oh, because Nicole and I really liked one and not the other. We really liked Game Night with Bateman and the neighbor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons is the neighbor who constantly wants to be invited.
Yes.
So is that the one you're talking about?
How is that profitable for Frito-Lay?
That's the one you're talking about, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other
Date
one
Night
we didn't
from-
like so much with Steve Carell and Tina Fey, and we really wanted to like it because we like both of those people, but it just didn't land well for us.
I think that is a movie that I would say that I like it, but I don't revisit it. In fact, I don't think I've revisited that Date Night since it came out on DVD.
And I would watch Game Night tonight and this weekend and next week if somebody wanted to, because I enjoy it that much.
Yeah, I was late to Game Night. I only recently saw it for the first time, like maybe a few months ago.
Oh,
but
perfect.
it is a great movie.
I love when you pick up it's like a present in the middle of like Christmas in July or something when you find something later like that.
Yeah. No, and I was like, how did we get to this? Because we're talking about Bill Murray.
Tangent. That's what we should have called this, the Tangent Podcast.
Yeah.
Tangentially Yours with Brandon and Jay.
Yeah, Game Night is a super fun movie. Highly recommend it. But Bill Murray in Brewster's would have been very, very different energy, and I think part of the fun of this Richard Pryor version is nobody does like crazy, like I'm under pressure.
He gets the big eyes and
yeah.
Crazy,
nobody does it like Richard Pryor, right?
Agreed.
And you could just watch him just like be frazzled forever.
Yeah, and it's nobody could be. He's very volatile, so nobody's more dangerous when he goes off the rails too than like a Richard Pryor because of Richard Pryor.
Yeah. I from what I was reading too, he needed to do this movie. He needed money at this point in his career, and
a lot of stuff going on in his life at this point in 1985.
And he was really struggling with the fact, like, is he funny without drugs, right? And so I think that people in 1985 didn't really take to this movie, and we're talking about it, we're celebrating it, but we're 40 years separated from it, and we've lost both of the leads of this movie. But at the time, I think people were expecting more from both Richard Pryor and John Candy in terms of the marketing of this movie, calling it like a screwball comedy, and it doesn't
it's not really a screwball comedy.
No, it's not. No,
there's moments.
Yeah, there's moments where it's zany and fun, but I think people were expecting something different from both of those guys, and they're both fantastic in it. They're really, really good at their roles.
Everybody was good in it. Nobody stuck out as bad. And again, the cameos are ridiculous, from Yakov Smirnoff to, like I said, Rich Hall before I wrote some. Oh, you know what?
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis is great as the Xerox guy.
Monty the Mimic. I wrote it down because it's.
That's right. But he was like, blah blah blah. I'm like a Xerox machine. He goes Xerox.
and what's interesting about that is one of my favorite Walter Hill movies, Streets of Fire, is 1984, and Rick Moranis is in that movie playing a very serious role. Rick Moranis plays the talent agent in Streets of Fire, and it's not a funny role. It's not like he's just a guy. He's like an angry little talent manager. And Walter Hill directed Streets of Fire. So
I've never seen that, but I just wrote it down because I'm going to watch it.
You know, I think it's one of the coolest movies ever. I went to a screening of it recently, last year, in the theater, and people were kind of laughing at it because there's so many tropes in the movie that at the time were cool and special for 1984, but now have been done and made fun of and spoofed over the 40 years, that people are kind of like laughing at the over like the 80s of it. Like the
Right.
lead character is like Tom Cody. He's this like gruff, tough guy that like doesn't smile, and he just punches his way through things. And Willem Dafoe is the bad guy. These guys have a sledgehammer fight. Like, I understand why the modern audience is laughing at it, but I look at it like, this is the coolest movie ever. The tagline for the movie is a rock and roll fable. It has great music in it. It is like paced so well. I think it's this like incredible 80s movie, but I've said that like Streets of Fire created the tropes that we know from 80s movies, and when you watch it, I think you'll clock a lot of like the feelings, the vibe, the 80s. It's very 80s, but it's very cool.
Brewster's Millions is a proper 80s New York movie. I put it up there with Splash or Ghostbusters, any movie that was shot in the 80s in New York, mid 80s specifically in New York City. There was a vibe. I was there. I remember it. I mean, there was there was a vibe when it was when there were different pockets to the city. It wasn't just one big city. It was a bunch of little cities. You know, Times Square and 42nd Street was not Disneyfied like it is today. Hell's Kitchen was not walkable like it is today. You know, and some of these movies really capture that time well, and for some reason, it's like walking into the Cafe 80s. It's like a nostalgic ride for me, you know, even in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Cafe 80s joke.
I had a,
I know, I didn't want the viewers to think I had a stroke. Playing Max Headroom on the Mac machine.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun.
Love you, Kip. Kip Marshall, love you, Kip.
The man. It was a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed revisiting it. I mean, I said on our first episode that I'm in a John Candy rewatch phase right now in preparation for the new documentary that will be coming out. So it I don't know, I just love seeing John Candy. He brings me so much joy, and
just his face. I agree.
And we've only ever heard wonderful things about him as a person, and he just, you know, we lost him too soon. And he's Canadian, you know.
Yeah.
I'm Canadian, so as a Canadian, we have to love him. But it's
a national rule.
Yeah, exactly. He's just so talented. He's an incredible actor, and his laugh, his little
so
like
real.
But it's also like so iconic. All of these back-to-back John Candy movies I've been watching, I've actually never clocked how much he does that little like chuckle to himself. Yeah, he does it all the time, but it's so endearing, and he's a lovely
I know
man.
exactly what you mean when he tucks his chin into his neck. He kind of
yeah.
Like, I know exactly what you mean. It's great. He's just so lovable. You nailed
Totally.
it. With, like, I cried when he died. I remember I was working in the television studio at News 12 junior year, doing an internship, junior year of high school. And when they came in and told us, you know, came over the AP wire that he had passed away, I was so upset that I literally went into the B studio where there was nobody and the lights were off, and I cried a little bit because I really thought that one day I would work with him. I believed it. I knew it. I was like, he's one of the people I love so much that one day I'm going to work with him.
Yeah, he's
huge loss.
He's a very, very special, funny, great comic actor.
Is there any John Candy movie that you had not seen until your rewatch phase you're going through right now?
There's a couple. I had never seen Delirious. The one where he's a sitcom writer, and then he gets
amnesia.
Zapped, into his own sitcom, and I thought it was good. I really liked the writing of it. I really liked the concept of it. I don't think that it was a very well-crafted movie.
That's it. It's a huge swing, and I don't know if it's done so well, but the concept is rad.
Yeah, and I think that if it was in the hands of a stronger director, and it seems too obvious to say like a John Hughes, because
Hmm.
his best stuff is always related to John Hughes: Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Uncle Buck, um, even Home Alone, like is what I probably grew up
John
seeing him in the
John Hughes
most.
somehow. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry. Please keep going.
No.
Oh,
It's
John
just
Hughes had a gift in pulling out people's vulnerability, and pulling out John Candy's vulnerability is just beautiful.
yeah. Well, famously, he has that "I like me" scene in Planes,
I'm gonna
Trains, and
start crying right
Automobiles.
now.
Yeah, I mean, in my house, my wife has been too affected by the Family Guy episode where Peter
Yeah,
does the whole monologue, and so now it's kind of switched over to funny in
yeah,
Renee's mind, and that's fine. Like it is a very serious moment in that movie, but it's also he's really good,
yeah.
and he really has like he has a very sweet face and very kind eyes, and you just get all of that kindness from John Candy all the
Mm,
time.
mm.
Um, Another one I was actually telling you on the phone was Only the Lonely.
So I grew up loving this one. I must have taped it off of HBO or something, so I watched it all the time. I love
and
this
it,
one.
it and it's
Jim Belushi and
Yep.
Ali Sheedy, and I forget who her mom is with, or no, his mom is with the red hair. She was famous back in the day too. Uh, um, she's Irish, right?
It
In the
is Maureen O'Hara.
There
This
it is.
film,
Yep,
Only the Lonely.
yep.
So this is a very late discovery for me, and it's produced by John Hughes, but written and directed by Chris Columbus, who would go on to direct Home Alone 1 and 2, the first two Harry Potter films, Jingle All the Way, like oh
The
no, sorry,
third
no, no,
Jurassic Park, a lot of stuff.
no, that's Joe Johnson. Sorry, Brian Levant directed Jingle All the Way. But anyway, Chris Columbus, iconic,
Oh,
and
Joe Johnston did Jurassic Park 3, not Chris
Joe,
Columbus.
yeah, Joe Johnson
Oh,
is
why did
is
I? Oh,
Jurassic
okay,
Park
right.
3.
Sorry.
Yeah,
So
I'm getting that.
Brandon will be the
Yeah,
fact checker. You'll get all your misinformation from me. That's how this.
getting,
That's how the delineation of power will work on this show.
I'm getting a buzz. Something happened to my headphones here when I. Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you actually sound better to me than you did before.
Hmm.
It was. Oh, maybe it's still there.
Yeah,
There's a hum. We're working it
something.
out. We're figuring it out. I'm hoping the folks at home don't hear the hum. Barbara Peterson says Michael Paré was also in one of my top 5 favorites. Eddie and the Cruisers. Yeah, you know what? That's a fun one.
Oh yeah, Eddie and the Cruisers is from Streets of Fire.
Oh, she didn't mean the movie Eddie and the Cruisers.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking. Yeah, maybe you're right.
What do you mean, Barbara? Let us know. Uh-oh, my mic went out.
Uh oh, technical difficulties. Something's going on here.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I literally unplugged it and plugged it back in. We're working it out. We've got a crazy rewire going on in the studio
Yeah,
that we're mostly through with, but I just have to finish it.
yeah. My audio is back now. As long as you can hear me, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, I can hear you. I guess my mic went
Okay.
out. Sorry about that.
No, and I was having a weird buzz, and then the volume, and maybe that's what it was. Maybe your mic was unplugging.
I don't know, but your buzz that I heard before went away before my mic cut out. So
Anyway,
thank God we're doing these live so that people can tell us that. So thank you, Dan, and whoever else chimed in. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
yes, we appreciate it.
Kip Marshall
Only,
can't hear you, Jay, so you're welcome for once.
Only the Lonely, John Candy. It is a wonderful romantic comedy about a beautician what is her actual job? She's a mortician, and
Yeah,
she
well,
does
that's
the
what they. So that's what they get. That's what they have in common because, as I recall, aren't Jim Belushi and John Candy like either ambulance drivers or
they work for
EMTs
the
or?
police.
Yeah,
They drive. They call it the paddy wagon.
yeah, there you
And
go.
they go to crime scenes and they pick up body bags.
Right. So like
And
it's kind of like Men in Black, where like, oh, they're both into dark stuff with Linda
yeah,
Fiorentino. Like
Yes.
Ali Sheedy's this really dark character that's perfect for this life.
Yes.
And he's having a hard time meeting a girl,
lovely.
and his mom is really on him to get married.
Yes, and his mother is very prejudiced, and he lives at home with his mother.
Am I right that she's old school Irish? Does she have a heavy
Yes.
Irish accent?
Yes, old school Irish, and she's very much like, you have to find a nice Irish woman to marry. John Candy lives at home, and he ends up having to like stand up to his own mother to live his life. But it is such a sweet, wonderful movie, and everybody in it is so good. And I think it just kind of just slips under the radar.
I'm so glad you found it. I love the part where they go to the ballpark. I love that.
Yes, and he's a John Candy man about town. You know, a kind soul, so everybody, you know, owes him a favor.
Right,
or
he's got a guy for everything.
Guy for everything. So his first date with Ali Sheedy is he goes to like it might be like Wrigley Field, but it's a huge ballpark.
I think it's a Chicago movie, so it would be Wrigley Field. Yeah,
that's what I am assuming. And just a sweet movie. John Candy, one of the best. We talk about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Oh, Spaceballs. Can't not talk about John Candy and not talk about Spaceballs. That's probably, maybe Home Alone is probably the first thing I ever saw him in, but Spaceballs is most definitely the film that I fell in love with John Candy and learning that he was Canadian as Arf, half man, half dog.
I'm my own best friend.
I'm my own best friend. What's your name? Barf. Not in here, mister. This is a Mercedes.
So did you know Star Wars yet? Or did you see Spaceballs first?
No, 100% knew Star Wars. I've been a lifelong Star Wars
A lot of people
fan.
my generation saw Spaceballs first, including me. So I'm only now getting the references. So when I watched, I told you recently in real life, before we started this podcast, that I just watched for the first time, really, the first Star Wars 2, the Star Wars and Empire.
Yeah, the original.
But the
trilogy.
original versions,
Yeah.
not the re-release special editions, and loved them. But like it was only then that I was really realizing just how much Star Wars is in the
merchandising.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get any of those references. I didn't understand that. I didn't know that George Lucas signed the biggest merchandising deal in the history of anything.
I can't wait till we cover 1987, then we can talk for 10 episodes on Spaceballs.
Yeah, no kidding. Only the Lonely is a great movie.
Yeah, I'm glad. I mean, obviously, you know, I am. When did this come out? This is.
I would guess 90s.
1991. So I wasn't born yet, which is part of the reason why I didn't know about this movie until recently. But one of my favorite things to do is obviously buy physical media, and I will just go around to the thrift stores and I just buy movies that I'm like, oh, of course I'm going to pick up this John Candy, Ali Sheedy, Chris Columbus, John Hughes movie I've never seen. There has to be something here.
Even if it's awful, I'll love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have noticed, you know, being somebody who was discovering a lot of these older movies, there is sometimes reasons why movies disappear and why they're not as celebrated and as remembered as fondly. And even a good example is the first John Candy we talked about, Delirious, because it wasn't great. A lot of really good ideas, but ultimately kind of flat, kind of forgetful. But
very uneven.
Yeah, and this is it's a very simple movie. It's a romantic comedy, but I do think there's some really great stuff in it.
My memory from that is it's super short and totally cute and totally worth it.
That is a perfect way to put it.
Let's see. I'm going to go down the list here. I never got back to Brewster's Millions. I never got into Dirty Dancing. I never got into Law and Order. But Jerry Orbach is a fantastic actor, and he plays the team manager, I guess, of the Bulls. And he's great.
Great face. Great face.
Great character actor, doing a great role. I wished he was in the movie more. I understand he could only be in the baseball parts, but and he called him a few times, I guess, too. So maybe he was in it as much as he should have been. But I
that's
like
definitely
him.
one of his best scenes is when Brewster calls him and he's like, I want to buy the team. And
he thinks he's drunk.
He's a fantastic character actor. I'd love to see him in more stuff.
But that's the guy, isn't he, that gets told nobody puts a baby in a corner because dad put baby in a corner. So he's
Never
like, hey,
seen
nobody
Dirty
puts baby
Dancing.
in a corner.
Never seen
think so.
Dirty Dancing.
Oh, good for you. That was me until like a year or two ago with Nicole.
I
So
own
Jerry
it.
Orbach, excellent. Stephen Collins, canceled probably. Rick Moranis, the Xerox machine. He was the mimic guy. This was interesting to me since we were talking about production. Did you know that Brewster's Millions was produced by Joel Silver?
When I saw the name, yeah.
Yeah, me too. That was only when. And the funny thing was I had just put on we have a tech who helps us with our late night playset show, and he's an audio expert. He works for Disney doing quality control on Star Wars, speaking of which, and like Marvel and all that stuff. And he came and did a professional calibration on our big screen in the other room, so both audio and video. So we were just putting on like some of my favorite movies, the good-looking, beautiful movies, whatever, and we threw in Roger Rabbit. And I had forgotten that in the beginning, during the cartoon, that the director of the cartoon in the movie, you can drop that thing on my head. I've dropped it five times on your head.
Oh, yeah, the Baby Herman cartoon.
That is Joel Silver. The fake director in the movie is really Joel Silver.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a long road.
No, and it brings me to one of my favorite things I love to talk about with Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit is a movie that I only watch on VHS.
Whoa.
Only because the high-def versions are giving too much away. And I always use the example of when Daffy and Donald are dueling pianos.
Yep.
You can see the rod pushing up the piano stool to make it move. And so there's some sort of like just preserving my memory and love and magic of Roger Rabbit that I refuse to watch it on anything other than my VHS copy.
Yeah, I mean, in puppet terminology, you don't want to see the strings.
Exactly. Or the rod.
I get that, but I will say that when you're here at some point, let's throw in Roger Rabbit just for a second, because I was blown away. It was just like it was in the theater, as I remembered, but without all the film grain and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the transfers have... I mean, I don't know how you could not show the things that you're talking about. You remember VHS? You probably, I'm assuming you know, the VHS of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, because that's your favorite. Like when he's pulling the chain out, and in the 4:3 version, you could see the chain going up through the bottom of the...
Yeah, famous, yeah.
But you can't see that in any other versions that are actual either letterbox or widescreen, because they're matted. It was matted for the film. For some reason, the VHS, they released it unmatted. Instead of cutting it down even smaller, which I guess does make sense. Is that sort of what you mean? Like, oh, you locked onto it a certain way when you first saw it, and this is how it should be?
Yeah, I think Roger Rabbit specifically because of the mixed medium of it. I just like that I can buy into it a little bit more with a little bit more fuzz, and that's how I saw it for the first time. The other example I use is The Exorcist, because as the Blu-rays came out, you can actually see the wires pulling Reagan up out of the bed.
Oh, no way.
It kind of just like, as much as I love knowing and learning about special effects, when I'm seeing them in the movie,
it's a fail.
It does take me out of it.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
a fail.
There's
you shouldn't know how the trick is done.
Yeah, and 1973?
Something like that.
They definitely weren't thinking about 1080p 4K Blu-ray. They weren't
thinking about home video back then. They were thinking we control this. They'll only see it once. If they blink, they'll miss it.
Yes, and maybe it'll be on TV, but it's just TV, right? Like
it's only this big, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Maybe most people will watch it black and white, right?
Totally.
So yeah, there's just certain films that I just have like this like, well, no, I can't watch a high def version of it.
Who was your favorite character in Brewster's Millions? I should say ancillary character, because not Brewster or Spike.
That's a really good question. The first thing I thought of was the photographer, and that's partly because he's just like such a character.
He's also in all of those 80s New York movies. He's the cab driver in Splash. You break that, you pay for it.
Yeah.
Cape Cod, that's about 300 miles. You got cash?
John Candy movie.
Yeah, 100%. You got any money? Yeah, I got money. Can I have some then? So good.
I don't know. He's probably one of them. Obviously, I would pick John Candy.
Sure.
But,
okay. Well, that's fine.
But I appreciate the question, because I think everybody is either going to pick Richard Pryor or John Candy. But
from me, it goes to it's Chuck Fleming. Chuck Fleming, Action News. He comes up so often.
Yes.
I think the character is so funny. The guy who plays him is named, I wrote it down, Peter Jason. And I've seen this actor in other things over the years, but every single time I see him, I go, why do I know that guy? Why do I know that guy? It's the voice. It's the voice. Oh, yeah, he's Chuck Fleming, Action News. And for some reason, the guy who plays Chuck Fleming, Action News, reminds me very much of a real guy that we know in our world named Pete McNulty, who's a car guy down here in Los Angeles, down in Orange County. But I don't know, there's something about the fact that he recurs throughout the whole thing because he's the newscaster who's constantly reporting to the public on what Monty Brewster is doing. Yeah. And he just shows up and he's got that, he's got the hairdo and the microphone. It's just very 80s TV, New York. Here are the facts. Chuck Fleming, Action News.
Yeah, I mean, he
could have his own spin-off.
Yeah. Not a lot of, I guess the other cast are Miss Drake, Warren, the banker guys.
Yeah, they were all people. Hume Cronin was the great uncle who left him the money. People probably know him from like Batteries Not Included.
Yeah,
Cocoon. I think he might have been in Cocoon.
He gives a really great performance. Yeah, he's hacking up a lung, and there's that great moment where like the nurse comes in to like give him aid, and he's like, no. It's a great performance, and he's got those like super tight close-ups, and
and he's even leaning into camera in the close-ups.
Yes, very interesting face. Yeah,
am I right? Isn't he one of the guys in Cocoon? Is he one of the old guys in Cocoon?
I couldn't tell you the last time I watched Cocoon.
Oh, this is a problem. We're gonna need to watch. Cocoon.
And
isn't that an 85? Didn't we decide?
Yes, we will cover Cocoon.
Thank goodness.
But I always confused Cocoon and Batteries Not Included growing up. I still to this day, I actually don't really know which one is which. Are they both aliens? Batteries Not Included is the little ships.
Yes.
Right?
It's Batteries Not Included is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen in my life. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's written by Brad Bird, who you know from the Incredibles and Tomorrowland, which is another one of my favorite movies of all time.
Me too. I'm so glad.
You do? It's literally, that's a secret I reveal to everybody.
Oh my God. Tomorrowland is one of the unsung. I have my pin upstairs.
Awesome.
Tomorrowland is an incredible film that was not appreciated when it came out.
Nope. It took 10 years to make. It was the most expensive movie they ever did. They were going to rebrand all the theme park Tomorrowlands to be after this movie, and it didn't do well at all. And anytime I show it to somebody, they're like, that was an amazing movie.
They shot parts of it locally out here in BC.
What parts?
George Clooney's house, the farm.
You're kidding.
Yeah. And I believe the Blast from the Past comic store is somewhere out here too.
That little street of like Middle America?
Yeah. Awesome. I believe that's all out there.
That whole Blast from the Past section of that movie reminds me of the scene in Paul when they're in the same kind of store.
Yeah, totally.
You too? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so excited that Tomorrowland. That's like 2015 or 12 or something like that. It's a
something
modern
like
movie.
That, yeah. Great movie. Yeah. Underappreciated for sure. Brad Bird also directed the Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. That's a Brad Bird
kidding.
film.
I didn't know that.
Iron Giant, the animated film, is a Brad Bird film.
Iron Giant's fantastic. Yeah.
He's all over.
So you get it. He has like his projects have heart and depth, and the premise on Batteries Not Included is that it's the age old story. It's kind of like Up, where all of this progress, they're building all the high rises all around, and there's one little brownstone still standing, and everything else is torn down and being built up. and it's full of like, you know, artists and these old people who run a coffee shop downstairs, and this quiet old vet who doesn't talk much, but he tinkers all the time, and like all these interesting characters live in this brownstone, and they're being pushed out, and they won't leave. So now the people who want to push them out are getting dirty, and they're all broke. They've all got a sad story. Like there's something going on with everybody. The old couple, she's got Alzheimer's. He's taking care of her while they're making bacon and eggs for everybody. And basically, everyone's at their last. There's nobody knows what to do with life. Like we can't figure this problem out. It's too big. We don't know what to do. And divine intervention sends some little alien critters who.
Yeah.
It sounds like a really silly premise, but it's a really gorgeous, beautiful movie. How these people end up working with these aliens and overcoming their difficulties. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And Jessica Tandy, Hume Cronin is the dad for sure, the father, and then Jessica Tandy did a great job.
And I think I just saw it when I was too young. I think that's the only reason. So it never connected with me. And I think based on the poster or the movie cover, I always thought it was something different.
Literally the same thing happened to me. I didn't like it as a kid because whatever, not enough aliens. I don't know what I expected. But as an adult, it is so good. So good. In fact, I'll probably watch it tonight after we're talking about it now because it's fresh in my mind again. It's so good.
But, okay, and then are there aliens in Cocoon?
So Cocoon is an incredible movie that you can't find anywhere to purchase, which I think is very odd. Right? What's that?
Ron Howard?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And Wilford Brimley and Steve Guttenberg and a lot of people. That one is aliens, but not in the same way.
Okay.
Well,
I
there are aliens under the ocean, which is a theory that's very plentiful in the world right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to watch it for this.
Okay, good. I didn't want to say too much about that one.
No, and I don't want to, especially because we are going to cover it. So I'd like to just go in fresh because maybe it's something that I've seen on TV because I know it and I know the poster and I know it. I know of it, but I just can't.
I know the Cocoon. I know some really, really brilliant people in this world who I will not name, but they work. This sounds terrible. They work in high places, and when we have discussed the movie Cocoon, the eyebrows raise in the way of like they're like, well, you know, that's pretty much how it really is. And I was like, wait, what?
Well, so, I can't wait to get into it on our Cocoon episode.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Money changes people. No's become yeses. I found that interesting in this Brewster's Millions. You know, he comes in and, oh, we don't want to do this. Oh, no, we can't do that because we have to blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, what if I just pay you double or whatever? And all of a sudden the no's become yeses. And that, while it's a simple construct, it says so much about humanity.
And it has never changed. And I don't think it ever will change. Nope. Money talks, baby.
Another cool thing about Brewster's Millions is in some of the establishing shots, again, great New York movie, you get to see the Statue of Liberty, and it's in its restoration phase. All of the scaffolding is all around it, which I grew up remembering and loving.
I wrote that down because I thought it was so interesting to... And I'm always thinking about it from like a production standpoint. It's like, oh, come on, our Statue of Liberty shot is all covered in this goddamn scaffolding.
Yep. And you would think, oh, you just use stock footage or whatever because you never see anyone in that shot. It's just a helicopter shot of the thing.
Yeah.
And it also seems strange that you would lock it to a point in time. It was only a 2-year restoration. So like, oh, you're tying your thing to... I also thought it was a weird choice, but I thought it was very cool for historical purposes.
It will be interesting if we clock it in any other movies in 1985.
There is another one, and I can't remember what it is, but we'll have to find it. We'll have to find it.
Yeah,
we'll have to keep an eye out.
I imagine that it would come up.
I can't remember what it is. And then the only other thing I had here when it came to the guest cast was people who I like who showed up. Lynn Shay makes an appearance also as a reporter. If you don't know who Lynn Shay is, you'd probably remember her as... She was in Nightmare on Elm Street. If you remember Nightmare on Elm Street, she was the teacher when Nancy burns her arm in class. I don't like this movie, but everybody else does. Something About Mary. She's the really tan one with the dog.
Okay, I've seen the movie. I like the Farrelly brothers, so
Yeah,
I
she's
like
been
a
in
lot.
tons of stuff, but Nicole knew her in real life, so we used to spend some time with her, and she is one of the most delightful people in show business. Oh,
Yeah.
you probably also her brother is Bob Shea, who was New Line Cinema,
Okay.
who
Like.
greenlit Nightmare on Elm Street and sold prints out of his
Okay.
trunk and whatever to fund it or whatever.
Yeah.
But just seeing a familiar face who like I knew in real life, and she's so nice, I just wanted to mention her. And that's all
And
I have for this.
this is great. I'm really enjoying like you plucking out these people that are working actors that you just know from either other things, but also know personally. Like that's a very very cool thing.
When you see her face, you'll know it in a heartbeat. You'll know who she is. Here, I can do this. I'll pull this up. And it's Lyn if you're looking it up. Shaye. Here she is. Let's see if I can do this. Does this make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah. I
You
recognize
know her, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
The only thing that I guess we didn't really touch on was, and it's not a big thing. Is maybe it's like it's opening weekend. Brewster's Millions came out May 22nd, 1985, the exact same day as Rambo: First Blood Part 2 and James Bond: A View to a Kill.
The Robert
So
Davi
that
one.
was yes. So that was the
Whoa.
weekend. The weekend at the theaters was
Nice
Rambo,
Goonies tie-in, buddy.
Rambo, James Bond, Brewster's Millions, Beverly Hills Cop was still in theaters from 1984, but
Wow.
it's still making money in the theaters.
Wow.
But so the movie cost $15 million and made $9 million its opening weekend. It's definitely made its money back, obviously at this point, but it's hard to compete with a James Bond and a Rambo.
For
Obviously, it was going to come in underneath either of those movies. What do you know what the number one out of James Bond and Rambo? What do you think the number one was?
I would guess James Bond.
It was Rambo.
Wow.
Rambo came in number one.
So
Almost-
Rambo's one I didn't see when I was younger, and I only saw it recently a couple of years ago, and I was first of all, it wasn't the type of movie I thought it was. I guess the sequels sort of became what I was expecting.
Yes.
And it was like, I found it to be a really, really good movie. And
Yeah.
I was so surprised by just a lot of facets by it.
Yeah.
I think the first Rambo is really an excellent movie. Brian Dennehy
Yeah.
does some incredible work in it.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into it because I guarantee you, based on how this conversation went tonight, I
We'll do
guarantee you we're going to talk Rambo 1 when we
Cool.
talk Rambo 2. I mean, the fact that it is a part 2, we have to talk about part 1
Yeah, you're right.
when
Okay.
we do Rambo 2. But fun fact about the first Rambo, it was shot in BC about 40 minutes away from where I live in a town called Hope. The whole movie.
Very
all
cool,
shot
because
in-
I've always wanted to go there, and I want to visit you. So now that I know they're close, that's two
Yes.
birds.
And you can actually watch friend of ours, Adam the Woo. How I met him for the first time was he was out in BC visiting Vancouver, but he's a massive Rambo fan, so he has a video of him coming out to Hope and doing all the filming locations. Him and his buddy Nerd Locations, they came out and they did all the Hope Rambo filming locations.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I love
It's
Adam the Woo, by the way. He was here last week and stayed he was right at Universal, which is a block
Yeah.
away, and we didn't get to see each other. Unfortunately, we're both so busy, but
Yeah.
such a fan.
Yeah. He's a great guy.
And I mean, I am a fan of his channel, but I'm a fan of him as a person. I really like his vibe. Like we all just hit it off so naturally.
Totally agree. He's a wonderful, cool, chill guy, and I love him. The only other thing I did watch Siskel and Ebert's review on Brewster's
Nice.
Millions.
Go
Did
ahead.
you?
Go ahead.
Oh.
No, I didn't, but this will be your part of the thing because I probably won't do too much research on this, but I love hearing about it.
Yeah.
You don't know this, but I was a huge Siskel and Ebert fan. In fact, that's the only reason Letterman had two chairs. Siskel and Ebert.
Wow. Like for them as guests, or that's what he called
Yeah.
them?
No. Good point. No. So that because people always said whatever. Johnny Carson used to have a couch, and people would stay, and they would move down the couch. Letterman would always have one guest at a time. So people always
Yeah.
said, "Why do you have two chairs? You only have one guest at a time." And he said, "There's a very simple explanation for that: Siskel and Ebert, because they come out together."
Yes, yes. I mean, they are quintessential '80s figures.
Oh yeah,
right.
The two thumbs up. They coined that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Well, they both disliked Brewster's Millions for the same reasons that we were talking about earlier, in that they just thought that it was a bit too bland for comic superstars Richard Pryor and John Candy. They both wanted more from them, and they both, said that the fact that this is the seventh version of this story, and it's kind of the same thing every single time, that hinders it. But
Yeah.
it was really fun to watch them, to watch that vintage footage of them talking about this movie as a current release.
Do you just look it up on YouTube? Is that how you find them?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
Super
just
cool.
I watched the Brewster's Millions clip, and then after I actually found the whole episode, and they covered Rambo 2 and a documentary, and I think there was a fourth film, but I'm forgetting it right now. But it's cool to have that as the opinion of the time,
Mm-hmm.
because like we were saying, we come from it. Like, I really enjoyed this movie, but how would I have felt if I was in 1985 going to the movies to see it, and I had everything that Richard Pryor had put out beforehand and John Candy had put out beforehand to like come up against it? Whereas now we're living it like this is just one of the things that those two actors have done, and we can enjoy their catalog at any point in any order.
Right.
And I'm just looking at it like, no, this is a simple story. Very
That's what I
straightforward.
like.
Yeah, here are the rules. Richard Pryor does his wide eye, spends the money, has fun, does some crazy things, and then ultimately he wins, right? We get to see him win the 300 million. So it's simple, but it's fun, effective, and frankly, it's good. Like it's quite good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well.
Well, that leads. Do you have a rating for it? Have you thought about a rating out of 5 stars?
This one's tough because I feel like I need to come up with criteria for how I rate. And you know what I mean? Because we'll both have probably different criteria for how these are coming up.
Yeah.
The one thing we didn't talk about here is how important Richard Pryor is to me personally.
Yeah.
I grew up loving his movies. I found I loved trains as a kid. I found the movie Silver Streak very early, Sunday afternoon, on TV with my dad watching it or something like that. And then, that becomes my favorite movie. I watch it over and over and over. Now I know this guy, Richard Pryor. Oh, now he's in other movies. I didn't find him through comedy. I found him through movies. Then I discovered his comedy. Then I found that he was a freaking legend, and on and on and on and on and on. Then one day I'm working for Chris Rock on the Everybody Hates Chris show. Then one day I meet my wife, Nicole, who was Chris Rock's publicist. And then one day she gets multiple sclerosis. Mm-hmm. And then one day she tells our old boss, Chris Rock, that she has multiple sclerosis. And Chris Rock gets silent and says, "Shit, that's what got Pryor."
Yeah.
And for some reason, the multiple sclerosis of it all, the fact that I feel like I've known Richard Pryor in my world since I was a very, very early age, and the fact that he died early after a roller coaster ride of a life, he's very, very special to me, and I can't really explain why. And now, after 5 minutes of telling you that, I can't remember why I brought it up. But my rating system, I think I'm going to be a little nicer to this movie than maybe it deserves because of the Richard Pryor it all. And I'm going to say that since we're looking at all movies in 1985, obviously our criteria is there. I'm going to give this 4 stars just because of the feelings it gives me. These two guys that I love so much give me all the feelings that I'm expecting to get from those two guys. I'm not disappointed in the least when I watch this movie.
I am right there with you, my friend. I also give it 4 stars, and I use this app called Letterboxd. And if anybody doesn't know about Letterboxd, maybe you've seen the interviews on the red carpet with the microphone with the 3 colored dots on it, and they ask people what their 4 favorite movies are, and they get all these. It's essentially a social media light platform where you can follow people, but essentially you rate movies. And I'll show you. There's my. I might not focus, but there it is. There's my 4-star and a heart rating on Brewster's Millions. So we are on. We
and
are
it's
on
just
the
if you're looking
page.
people up on that, it's your name. It's not BC DeLorean. That looked like just your name.
Yes, this on Letterboxd. If anybody wants to sign up for Letterboxd, you log the movies that you've watched. You can write little reviews on them. You can rate them. You can follow people. So I'm just Brandon Mindell, my name, on Letterboxd, and that actually leads me to the segment that I'd like to have on this show, because one of my favorite things about Letterboxd is the reviews that people write, because this is an app or a website that is filled with film nerds and people who just love movies, and a lot of these reviews are just like snarky. They're great one-liners, and I will just sit and read random people's reviews of movies, and they will make me laugh so hard. So one of the things I wanted to do on our show is I wanted to read some Letterboxd reviews.
Absolutely.
I have not come up with a name for this segment. I've been racking my brain, so maybe one day it'll have its own name. But here are a few Letterboxd reviews that I found on the Brewster's Millions page. Here we go. Ava rates it 3 stars and a heart, says, a Mr. Beast challenge, but in the 80s.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Ben, 4.5 stars and a heart. I would hire a guy with a tuba to follow all the people I don't like.
With a tuba.
This one's not funny, but maybe this is what I would do with my money. Amelia, 3.5 stars and a heart. I would fund another Muppet movie.
Ooh, good.
David, 3 stars, says, I could watch John Candy talk shit to baseball players all day. And I thought the exact same thing. That we briefly talked about it, but that one scene where he's talking shit to baseball players is perfect John Candy.
So the other funny thing too is, like, this movie feels very authentic to me. I don't know if that's Walter Hill, I don't know if that's the New York of it all, or just the time of how they were making movies. But that scene that we're talking about, where we're just all of the baseball stuff really, but that scene where we're just watching home plate and we're watching the guys interact, straight out of Major League. Which to me is probably the best, baseball movie ever made, because I'm not into the baseball, so I like the comedy.
Yeah.
That scene felt like it was ripped right out of Major League, and obviously it was before.
Yeah. This may show our age gap, but I think the best baseball movie ever made is Rookie of the Year.
Oh, that was Nicole's favorite, and you know what? I don't know that I've ever seen it, so I'm gonna watch that
Classic.
as well.
I got one more here, and then I think we're good.
Okay.
Fiona Applebottom Jean on Letterboxd, 3 stars, said, I thought too hard on how I'd spend the movie that I forgot to watch the movie.
Mm-hmm. Thought too hard about how to spend the money that I forgot to watch the movie.
Yeah, that I forgot to watch the movie. Yeah.
So that's interesting. I didn't do that. When somebody asked before, like, oh, did you think about blah, blah, I didn't. I just sort of assessed what I thought of his choices.
Yes. And I think part of the reason why I didn't really do that is because this is probably the 3rd, maybe 4th time I've watched Brewster's Millions, maybe the 3rd time. And to be honest, I was kind of watching it with the lens of like, okay, I have to talk about this for an hour and a half, right? And
me too. That's why I was making notes throughout the whole. Yeah,
I wasn't thinking about like my own experience with if I was in Richard Pryor's shoes.
Yes,
and more just like, okay, what is in here that we can talk about, right?
This is the feeling productive about what we're doing part.
Yeah,
like we were working here.
Yeah, and I did really enjoy watching a movie with that lens.
Same.
Uh, and it's
It
it's a
honestly
thing
made me
that,
feel a little bit like Siskel and Ebert. If I had my pad, I'm watching, I got my pad, I'm pausing to make the note, you know.
yeah, yeah, like it feels like you are judging the movie um, for a reason. And I always I like I've said before, and I'll probably say time and time again, I love watching movies, and I'm always thinking about films technically in the subconscious. I'm thinking about the pacing. I'm thinking about the edits, like the camera movements, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And
I'm also assessing production throughout the entire thing.
yes, yeah, and it was just it was cool to have a reason to be focusing on a lot of that stuff.
I know what you mean. Because ordinarily, oh, I'm doing that anyway, and it takes me out of the movie. But now I had a
Yeah,
reason to do it, so I have an
yeah,
excuse for being taken out of the movie.
yeah,
That's hilarious. So, different age, but we're cut from the same cloth. There's a reason
yeah,
this show is going to go.
yeah. We both love Tomorrowland. That's why the show works.
Dude, don't get me started on like I could cry because I love that movie so freaking much, and to have a
Yeah,
friend who likes it as much as I do is really rare. Everyone else
I
who's seen it, I introduced them to it.
oh I
Nobody
legit
I know has ever seen that movie on their own.
I love that movie so much, and I feel the same way. It did not get what it deserved, and it was a great movie.
Oh man, I'm gonna watch. Oh god, I don't know what to watch now. It makes me
And
want to watch. Every time I talk to you, the enthusiasm builds, and like the wave washes over me again, and I want to watch all of these movies.
yeah, we got it. Yeah, you got to jot them down. What movie did you
Rookie
jot
of the
down?
Year, Kit Marshall says 6 out of 5, or is that 6.5?
No, 6 out of 5. That's how good it is.
Oh, his rating
Six
system.
out, yeah, 6 out of 5 stars.
Good one. Shout out to Kip, who, by the way, I don't know if you know this or not, but Kip and Abby are moving into Astoria. Remember, they used to live just outside.
Oh yes,
They're actually going to move into town.
everybody was affected by Goonies weekend, and yeah, they only live 20 minutes away, but they got to get closer.
It's funny because they moved there in the first place from another part
Yeah,
of the country, and now they're just zeroing in tighter and tighter and tighter. The nucleus is shrinking.
yeah,
One day they'll be next door to Astoria Coffee Roasters.
yeah, exactly. Well, they're going to be in the house. They're going to live in the Goonies house.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? We do plugs at the end just to kind of you're Brandon Mindell. How do people follow you?
Well, first and foremost, everybody should follow A Blockbuster Year on Instagram and Facebook.
Please.
Keep you up to date on the movies that we're going to be covering, which we do need to announce what movie we're going to be covering next. And I'm actually going to throw you a curveball. Stay tuned for that.
I feel like I can figure out what it is now, but I'm good. I'm good with whatever.
And yeah, you can follow me personally at BC DeLorean, BC as in British Columbia, on all social media platforms. And where do they find you, Jay?
Thank you for asking, Brandon. You can follow me at Porsche Life 111, or if you want to keep up with the happenings here in the studio with the playset here, late night playset. And then specifically, and if that's on YouTube as well, Facebook, all of the above. We've got some friends that do versions of this as well, and some of them are new at it, and I just wanted to shoot them some love. One was Dustin, who popped in here earlier. We met him up at the Goonies weekend, and like all of us, all of this energy was just pumping through our veins, and we didn't know what to do with it all. So he's like, "I'm going to jump on a live, and anybody who wants to join me, join me." And I did 2 weeks in a row with him. It was really fun, just sort of reliving our memories from the Goonies weekend, not dissimilar to what Brandon and I did on Late Night Playset, or when Justin Scard was here and we did that on Late Night Playset. But Dustin's got a show that he does with Mr. Nass called The Basement Show. Follow Dustin for that. But also Daryl Boggs started something that I don't know about. I just saw today. We met him up there as well, and he's got a My Goonie Weekend podcast or something like that I'm definitely going to check out. And I just want to send him some love, because I don't know that I've met a bigger fan other than, okay, there was a few. Robbie Retro, right? Huge fan and supporter and like hype man. Michael Christopher, who we met also that weekend.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Daryl Boggs were like, I just felt like, I don't know, I got like they inflated us with just love and good vibes the entire weekend we were there. And just I love you guys back. I hope that whatever you're doing is great. And the more people who do this stuff, the better for all of us. come do a cameo on this thing. We'll do a thing with you.
For sure.
Know that Brandon and I are open to all that. We want everyone to rise. So.
Oh, hell yeah, of course. What
are we doing next week, Brandon? What show? Well, I feel like we've covered Brewster's Millions. We both loved it. The rating system I love. Good call on that.
Yes, yeah, and I'm going to keep track of all of our ratings, so at the end we can kind of see what were our highs and our lows of 1985, right?
How big a deal is the Letterboxd app? Because is it the type of thing where a Blockbuster year should have its own account, and then we cover the movies that we do on the show, or is that overkill?
No, it's not overkill. I might just have to log in and out with my own personal one. I have on my personal Letterboxd. I did start a Blockbuster year list.
Oh, perfect.
So
good.
I'll look into if I can make notes in that list. But essentially, I would like to keep track of our rating. And for me, it's easy because all of these movies that I'm watching, I'm going to put in my Letterboxd app and rate anyway.
Right.
Which is why I asked you out of 5 stars, because that's what Letterboxd is 5 Perfect. Stars and a heart.
I feel, and it gets the heart for me because of my sappy story I told you.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't explain how or why, but I just have a feeling that this particular little podcast that we're doing here, a Blockbuster year, focusing on 1985 currently, I have a weird feeling that this is going to be bigger than you and I both expect. So it would be neat to have a record of all the things we covered in the early days when we can go look back on it someday,
For sure.
It'd be cool to remember these early shows and we're like, remember when we didn't know what we were doing?
Exactly. our baby steps.
The audience had to tell us when our mics dropped out because we didn't even know.
Yeah, hey, that's
those
classic.
were the days.
Yeah. I'm just happy that we have an audience to tell us those things. I truly appreciate everybody who stopped by to watch live. I appreciate everybody who is listening on the podcast feeds or watching the replay. Jay and I just wanted to do this to hang out with each other and have an excuse to watch movies. And the fact that there's people here commenting and participating, it makes me very happy. So thank you to all those who have jumped on the early bandwagon for a Blockbuster year.
So well said. I echo that every sentiment. I love it.
All right.
And then, I'm in for the ride. Thanks, Dan. Me too. So in the future, feel free to jump in anytime with the comments. We tend to talk through and we don't always get to them immediately, but they do queue up in the system here and we will get to them. We'll figure out a better way to do all of this in the future, but this is what we're doing now. The only thing I would say is that whatever this is, it is in constant evolution.
Yeah,
Brandon and I are constantly coming up with ideas and changing things. If you have any ideas, throw them in the comments on YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah.
Know that everything will be considered.
Yes.
Neither one of us have any kind of we're not, I don't know. I don't care where the idea comes from as long as it's a good idea. So if you've got one, share it and let's do it. That's what. And
as you can tell by this episode, we talked about Brewster's Millions, but we talked about a lot of other stuff as well. We talked about movies not from 1985.
No, told you about my wife who died. I mean, there's so much stuff.
Exactly. But and that's what I want this show to be. I don't want it to be strict in that sense. We can go anywhere, and that was a very heartwarming story, and I appreciated you sharing that on the show.
Thanks. Thank you. Without tooting our own horns, I will tell you this, that the feedback I've gotten from this show is that people seem to like it a lot. People seem to think that you and I have good chemistry, which obviously I agree with. When we first met, I felt that. But it's nice to have that kind of feedback from people. So if you're liking this, we really, really appreciate it. If you're not liking us, tell us why. And we may either change something or tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah. If you... subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment, like the video, all of the social stuff.
Smash that!
Hit the bell.
That's right. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Gannon Appleby, you guys rock. Thanks, Gannon. You do too.
Thank you.
Stephen Clay, hi Brandon. I just at work. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I know Stephen. Stephen rules.
And Barbara sends some love on the way out. So next week, what movie are we doing?
We are going to be doing 1985. We're going to be covering Clue.
I am excited
Tim
about this
Curry,
movie. I love this
Madeline
movie growing up.
Kahn, Martin Mull, Christopher Lloyd, and I think we are going to have our first guest next week.
This is exciting.
Yes.
Are they in Canada or in Los Angeles, or are they satellite as well?
They are actually in Los Angeles.
So when we do guests on this show, do they do it from wherever they are? Do they come to the play set? How does this work?
You know, I will talk to our guest, and I'll see what he's what he wants to do, what he has time for. But I believe he lives near your neck of the woods. I think he's about 20 minutes away from you or so. So
anything is possible. He's welcome here, or we can do another talking head too. We got plenty of windows here. You know, we can go up to I think 9. We can do the full Brady Bunch if we want to.
Oh yeah, for the mega episode.
Yeah, here. Let me just see if this works. Let me see if we can do this. I wonder if this will work. Let's see. We'll put the name of the show in the center, if that works.
This is all happening live, people.
Yeah, I'm just curious if this can even happen. And if it does, then we know we did it. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Whoa.
We can do up to this.
Okay, if there's anybody listening at this point, Jay has put 9 windows up of all his different camera angles of the late night play set with a beautiful Blockbuster year logo in the middle. That's called professionalism, buddy.
So we can do it. Good news.
We can have up to 9 people. That is an exciting thing to think about.
Okay, so I guess that's it. We did the thing, right?
Yeah, we did it all.
I'm excited.
Thank you, everybody who watched live. Really appreciate everybody that was here. Tune in next Wednesday, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, where we'll be covering the classic 1985 film Clue, the movie.
Excited. I love that one. It's so fun and light. So fun.
Such a great one. Yeah.
I feel like more people will know that one too than Brewster Millions already going in.
Yeah.
So it'd be fun.
And, Clue is available to rent everywhere, I believe. I don't think it's streaming for free on any of the platforms, but...
it was $4.99 the other day on Apple TV. Check Apple TV for purchase because it might be cheap right now. Yeah,
you can definitely find it digitally out there. Easy enough. This is a Shout Factory. You know what is ironic? Look at this. This Brewster's Millions is Shout Select. This is Shout Factory. They do incredible Blu-ray and 4K releases. And so is Clue. Clue is also a Shout Select.
Oh, nice.
My 4K. Spine number 152 for Clue, and Brewster's Millions is spine number 97. So
you know something I'd like to include when we talk. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying we're doing back-to-back Shout Factory Select films.
I love that. One of the things I'd like to incorporate when we talk about these, because I'm going to look it up for Clue, but the studios that put the movies out, I think we should include that.
I actually do have that here.
Okay, who did Brewster's Millions? I don't remember. I thought it was like
Millions
Samuel Goldwyn or something.
Is Universal.
Oh, Universal. Okay.
And Clue is Paramount.
Paramount. Okay.
But yeah,
I knew that one.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing to note. Is we should include the production, the release.
I love you, Brandon. I love that we're doing the show. I love that there's an audience for this show. I had a rough week. I've got a friend in the hospital, bone cancer, a lot of stuff going on. So I haven't gotten much sleep this week. We didn't even do a play set. We put a rerun up. What's a rerun? This is the most exciting thing I've got. I've got a lot of things going on, but this is what I'm most excited about. And I'm so glad that we're doing it together. So I love you, man. Thanks for everything.
Love you too, Jay. This is a great night. Thanks
to you at home. See you next week for Clue. This has been a Blockbuster year. Take the tape out.
Rewind.